Tomorrow is the last day of the year. I'm about to head up and bring my last of my deposit to my new apartment and take care of some errands and pick up some bubble wrap. Didn't get that yesterday, so I had to get that to wrap some things up. Very excited about the move that's happening early next week. And as we wrap up the end of this year, and we talked about this yesterday, how we need to really take with us what we desire to, that is that which is good, and take it into the new year. I also wanted to think about something that's very crucial, and that is, what do you think about yourself? Do a little inventory check, like you would for packing things for a move, and take an honest look and appraisal of what you feel about yourself. When you're honest with yourself and you say, I feel blah, 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 blah about me, I feel that I am a blah, 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 I feel I can do this, I can do that, do the other thing. I do this pretty well, I do this really well. Take an inventory list. Maybe you'll say I'm a great mother or father. Maybe you'll say I'm a great brother or sister. Maybe you can say, well, I'm not so great at this, but I want to improve on that in the next year, and this is how I'd go about that. Make sure you do it that way. For example, when an insurance adjuster comes and looks at damage to a vehicle or to property, what they're looking at is, what condition is it in now? What's it going to take to either repair or replace that object? And in an inventory checklist, you need to do that at this time of the year for yourself. But notice, when the adjuster comes in, he says, well, we're going to scrap that because it's no longer of any good. Or, we'll take it to this repair shop, it will get repaired and be just as good as new. Or we're going to replace it with something else that's new because it's going to be better. So we need to do that with our own lives, with each facet of our lives. For example, if you say, I haven't always been the best, whatever, brother, sister, son, daughter, whatever you are, and maybe a relationship is not, over this past year or past couple years, what you would have it to be. That maybe when you meet with that person, you have some miscues, some miscommunication, or you step on some toes, or they step on your toes and you allow them to get to you. Then you need to reevaluate that. And not just that, but maybe there's personality flaws in yourself that only you notice, and they bug you, but yet you persistently perform them every time. And maybe you need to evaluate, where's that coming from? What part of me always does this? And how can I change it? If you're honest with yourself, everyone has flaws. But if you identify the flaw, or recognize it, replace it with something else, or rethink about it in a new light, and write out a positive statement about how you have envisioned yourself behaving, acting, or in a situation that's better. And then visualize that in your mind of how you really want it to be. It will come to fruition. There is no such thing as being stuck if the only reason people are stuck is if they absolutely give up. Have you ever been in a car where you're stuck in the mud and you're literally spinning your tires and you're not going anywhere? It's only when you put something under the tires, be it dirt, be it kitty litter, if it's in the wintertime, or be it a piece of wood, or be it some carpet, something has to go underneath the tire to get traction, so you're no longer stuck. We need to do that for ourselves. If you never get out of the truck and all you do is just press the same old accelerator and pedal on the floor, all you're going to do is spin your wheels and not change anything. You might feel like you're getting some motion, but you're not really going anywhere. So the only way is to reevaluate, and to do that you need to get out of the vehicle, go back and assess where you are, what's causing you not to move, and then find a way to support yourself so that you can get out of that and move forward. It's that way with your life, in every area of your life. So if you take that honest, quiet time we talked about yesterday, whether it's in the bathtub by yourself while you ask your spouse to take the kids away for a little bit and give you some Calgon time. Calgon, take me away. Or whether it's you go for a walk by yourself. If it's not too cold where you are. It's going to be very bitterly cold this next week here in Elkton and in Willow Grove where I'm moving. And you know, it's very important that we evaluate each area of our lives that we know is an area that we have concern about. If you have concern about it, but you feel bad about it, that is just simply your inner self telling you, hey, here's something we need to work on. It's not to bring you down, it's actually to help you, to bring you up. Your subconscious mind says, oh, well, if they're dwelling on this, then we're just going to give them more of that. So what we need to do is put good information in to get good information out, instead of garbage in, garbage out. So to do that, you need to replace those things with positive statements or seeing yourself doing things in a different way than you have been already. You know, I'm never going to have a configuration of my furniture the same way I do right now, because I'm not going to be in the same place next week. So therefore, my furniture needs to be laid out in a different way. And I look forward to that. The same is true with you in your life. Not your furniture, your life. You need to be transformed in your mind, just as I visualized how my furniture will be laid out in the new apartment. You need to lay out where you want your life to be, how you want to be interacting with people, and then start doing it. If you know that every time a person says something, you snap at them, number one, you could either try to avoid that person, or when you meet with them, try to replace what you typically would get upset about. Find out, why am I getting upset about it? And how can I defuse that so that it doesn't bother me? You know what they say, if a person bothers you, then there's a chance that there's something underneath that you're choosing to believe about yourself that's bugging you. A person cannot press your button unless it's wired on the other side. So you need to, like explosive ordnance workers when I was in the Air Force, snip the right wires and reprogram it to make it inert or not going to blow up on you. And the only way you can do that is to evaluate it carefully. You know, when I was in the Air Force, they had an explosive ordnance division. And those are the guys that are the bomb guys that go in and deactivate weapons when there's problems with them, or explosives, or anything that would cause harm to our military. And their job is to go in to either defuse or to take to a safe location and activate so that it no longer can be of any harm to anyone. Did you hear me on that? We need to make things that have been detrimental to us, make them inert, make them non-explosive, and if anything, move them so that they're safely out of our way. If it's a relationship with someone, then you need to repair it or move away from it. You need to snip the wire of what underlying cause is going to allow it to become explosive. Evaluate it. If there's some underlying truth there that maybe you need to look at and change a habit or behavior about yourself or belief, then you need to do that. Give it a positive spin. So for example, if you always get upset whenever your sister says, hey, you know, this happens and this happens, and every time you do this, it bugs me. If that bothers you, maybe they're trying to point out something that you're choosing to ignore. So if you choose not to ignore it and work on it instead and make it a positive, that person might not see it right away. Have you ever gotten a haircut, or ladies, if you've gone to the hair salon and had your hair done? That's not an issue for me. But if you've had that, and then you go to work the next day, or you go home, and someone says, "You look different. Did you lose weight?" And you smile, because you didn't lose weight maybe, but you fixed your hair. And you're saying, hey, they noticed something. Or if someone says, wow, your hair looks great, doesn't it? Wow, it looks awesome. And you really soak that in because someone noticed. But what happens if you got your hair done or you lost 10 pounds and nobody noticed? Did you still lose 10 pounds? Yes. Do you feel good about it? Yes, absolutely. Do you care that anyone else noticed? Probably. But is that important? Is that something that really matters in the whole of time? I don't think so. Because if we have to be validated by others instead of inspired by our own progress, then what we're doing is relying upon those that currently surround us for validation. And if they're always validating us, then we're never going to move into a new way or a new vision of ourselves that's ahead for us and feel okay with it, because we're always going to look to the people that have always been there with us. And there's nothing wrong with that. If it's your immediate family and you really feel validated by them, wonderful. But if you feel held back by them, maybe you could care a little less about their opinion and instead focus on getting and vibrating new people into your life. Bringing people into your life who are going to be more supportive, who maybe are like-minded to where you want to be. If you want to become a dietitian, let's say, then you need to surround yourself with people who focus on having people to get healthy. You could work with personal trainers. You could maybe go to the gym and work with a personal trainer, and they'll share with you what they're doing, and you could have ideas. Hey, you know what? That's a cool idea. If I convince my clients to do more exercise in this kind, it'll balance what we're doing with the food side. You become inspired by that. That's just a small example. It is very important that as we make this transition into 2012, that we truly do that inventory checklist. We talked a little about it yesterday. I'm talking about it today. Never feel that your truck is stuck in the mud. Never feel that you are where you are and nowhere else will you ever be. If you tell yourself something in your mind, your subconscious will give you just that. And if you're always seeing the same thing and it bothers you, you're just going to be there next year. So decide in your mind you're going to change it for the better. This is Ron Brown for your Being Truly Well Minutes. I will be doing a recording tomorrow on New Year's Eve. Don't know if I'll be doing one New Year's Day. I have a lot of packing to finish up. And then I'll be offline until I get hooked up by Verizon next Thursday. This is Ron Brown for Being Truly Well Minutes. Have a great and amazing time enjoying the end of this year, because every end has a new beginning. So enjoy the end. Yes, you can look back and say, oh, this happened and this happened, this happened. But also count your blessings. Reprogram yourself for the positive side. Have an amazing New Year's Eve and a great New Year's Day. This is Ron Brown for your Being Truly Well Minutes. Namaste, my friends.